Evelyn, you've got a wonderful tan, right? And that's, I'm assuming, well, you probably don't go to the beach, you live out in the country, but Greece has cracked it at the number of tourists that are coming in and what it's done to their beaches. Greece had a record 32 million international visitors last year. And according to the locals, their beaches are now being overrun with filthy, stinking foreigners, and they're not going to take it anymore. So the government has put out a list of 189 quote-unquote untrodden beaches, which are now off limits for development. So it essentially bans businesses from setting up bars and restaurants along the coast in an effort to keep those money-spending tourist bastards away. Cal, I would have thought it common sense. If you've got 32 million tourists coming in, what do the Greeks think they're doing? They're going there to spend money. If they want to go and spend money in your country, and we know what the Greek economy has been like at times, why would you discourage them?
I'll tell you why, because they're a government and they want to be re-elected. It's the locals that have been campaigning. The locals have been saying, the tourists who come in, the companies that come in and set up these tacky souvenir shops and all the rest of it, they are making a rubbish of our environment. We don't want it. We don't like it. And because the government wants to be re-elected, they're listening to the locals. It's called democracy.
I was just about to say, it's democratic.
But what you can do, instead of just saying, well, there's no development allowed here whatsoever, you control the development. I mean, that's what councils and governments do here. And you say, Evelyn, well, we're not going to have the tacky tourist shop. We'll have restaurants and we'll have bars and we'll have stuff that actually value adds to the area. I don't see why you couldn't do that.
Well, look, I think, Kel, I totally agree with you. Like, are we in a democracy? My first question when this story came up was, well, is this the government doing it or is it the people doing it? Because the government is supposed to represent the people. The government is supposed to protect the people and their rights. And if this is what the people want, why are we upset that the government are doing what the people want? I mean, we live in a nanny state. We live in a country where we're like, please, government, don't touch something and ruin it. And, you know, we feel like no one listens to us. Here's a government who are allegedly listening to their people. So I think that's great. But I've said this on the show a number of times. I'm all for right-wing environmentalism. I think that we should be great stewards of the land. You know, I'm a Christian and I think we should take care of God's creation, what he's done. But I think one of the first things to be able to do that is perhaps stop all your migration in Greece. I think it's got one of the highest immigrant things in all of Europe. Perhaps maybe that's a problem. And if you get illegal immigrants out of the country, that might make more way for actual paying tourists that could advance their economy.
Well,
just an idea.
It's funny because, of course, in New South Wales, where we're sitting, Freya, the state government's having enough trouble, you know, trying to put up 3-storey unit blocks in people's suburbs, and they say,
try building anything at Bondi Beach without having out revolution on you. I mean, they couldn't even build a train line there during the Olympics.
Don't get involved with the golfers as well.
Let's not blame them.
But over in Greece, it's like, no, we're not doing anything on 198 beaches.
Well, I actually disagree with you because in New South Wales, you can't do anything on our beaches at all. Forget having some that are overdevelopment. We have zero development. I can't get a tanning bed on Bondi or on any beach. You can't rent a bed. You can't get a cocktail delivered to your beachside lounge. It just does not exist. So actually, I think we need to learn a lesson from Greece and actually increase the business opportunities on Australian beaches so we can bring the vibrancy back to our beaches.